Surrey will remain at $300,000 as it has for the past couple of years. With that, I'll turn it over to Doug Davidson.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Doug Davidson with SERI. Actually, our request is the same from the county as it's been since 1994, when we privatized from formerly being a county department. SERI was created by the county in 1986, and then we were spun out as a nonprofit organization in 1994.
Microphone, please.
Is that better, hopefully?
There you go.
There we go. You can see there that we provide technical assistance, data, and support to the economic development community in Johnson County. Our mission is to support economic development and job creation in the county and the region through provision of those services. And can we advance the next slide? There we go. A list of things that we provide is listed there in the slides. We have been, since the pandemic has settled down, our focus has kind of returned to our more traditional services, helping support economic development efforts in the county. During the pandemic, we spent a lot of time and effort in trying to assess the effects to the economy. We were involved fairly significantly with the KC Rising efforts to try to model the impacts to the regional economy of the pandemic. But particularly in the last 6 months or so, there's been a number of economic development projects that have come through the local ED organizations, and they've turned to us to help support them with data. 3 fairly significant projects that were funneled through Kansas City Area Development Council down to the local entities. We worked on in the last 6 months or so, Project Ocean, Project Epsilon, and Project Duck. We're also able to get out in the community more here recently. In fact, we just made a presentation on the local economy to the Leawood Economic Development Council last week. So we're doing more of that sort of work, which some of that sort of died down during the pandemic period. And we could continue to produce a number of publications that are ongoing, regular, but our special requests for data and assistance have shifted in the last 6 months to a year back to a more traditional economic development support effort. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. I know I find your information very valuable. The grant writing alone and helping us prepare getting grants is invaluable. Also just helping with economic development and working with our staff. So truck routes and all those things are, so I just really appreciate the work that you do. So
Thank you very much.
So any questions? Commissioner O'Hara.
What would your plan be if you no longer had the county annual support? What would your model be?
Well, that would be probably an existential threat to our organization. We'd have to probably turn to our local economic development partners and see if there was enough financial support that could be garnered to continue to support us. Otherwise, I don't know that we would continue to be able to exist.
Are you saying that would be the cities?
The cities or the economic development organizations, which are in turn
Chamber of
largely
Commerce.
chambers and EDCs, yes.
Okay, and so we're as a community, we're investing a lot in quote-unquote economic development, which includes tax incentives. And there have been numerous studies showing that a great majority of those projects would locate here anyway, because this is a great place to do business. And so maybe it's time that we kind of step back a little bit and analyze really what we're trying to accomplish. And we have an unemployment rate of 1.7%. They're talking about bringing in a battery plant, and where are those people going to come from to be employed? The small businesses, of which I am one, small business owner, we're having difficulties finding people. You're listening to the sheriff. He can't find. He's got 51 positions open. Corrections, they have 48. I mean, this is unprecedented as to what we're going through. So maybe we need to really step back and relook at how we're allocating our resources. And is it really necessary for the community to be subsidizing these big developments? And is it necessary that we're subsidizing Siri? I don't know, but it just seems like maybe you need to be looking at a different model to see how you can become self-supporting. Those are just I'm just throwing those out as suggestions.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
if I may, I don't know that we can sell the types of information that we collect and disseminate to the extent of being able to support the operation. Much of what we do is also supporting local governments in their economic data to support their issuances of bonds, to their financial reporting, and things like that. Unless there's some sort of fee for that or a subscription type service to make our services available to those municipalities and the county itself.
Well, where would the county and the municipalities be getting this information if you weren't in existence?
Well, they would be spending a significantly larger set of resources to assimilate and analyze that data.
Okay.
That's
So-
I think the value that we bring to the community is that we make it easy for them to obtain this information.
Are the cities and the different economic development organizations within the chambers, are they contributing to you?
Not in other than any reports that they purchase from us or large data analysis projects that they assign to us. The traditional requests for data and information is not something that we charge them for.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Myers?
Well, I was just going to say, please don't take those comments as part of the consensus of this board. I can disagree with a lot of things that were said. One of them that sticks out in my mind is in some of the situations that we hear often on these TIFs. I have found in my experience that those companies would not come if it were not for the assistance. And again, my experience has been nothing but positive benefit from each and every situation that I've been involved with those types of agreements. So again, sometimes comments are made and they are taken as a consensus of this board, and I do not want that to be the case.
Thank you, Commissioner Myers. And, I'm going to add the, helping with, there was small business assistance that you helped during COVID. The grant writing alone covers more than the $300,000 that's being given. So, I think that we should take a look at all the services that are provided. It's not just to economic development. It's not just to the cities. It's to a wide variety of services. Commissioner Ashcraft. I got it. I was slow.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Couple of questions, Mr. Davidson. Good to see you. I don't think I've seen you since COVID, so I'm glad you're back in person. If I have, I just didn't connect your presence. So good to see you. As you've indicated, your request this year has been flat for a couple of decades now. But I was wondering, what % of your total budget does the county support?
It's over 90% now.
90%? Okay. Well, and all due respect to Commissioner Myers, I think he's right, and I know you've been before this commission many times that a comment from one commissioner or another is not a consensus. Even when we have more than 4 commissioners agreeing on something, it's seldom a consensus. So it's part of the discussion and the iterative process, and I do thank Commissioner O'Hare because it's been a question that I've had for many years because over the last 10 years, even at the flat rate, we've contributed, I guess that works out to be about $3 million for your services. And I think the basic foundation of Commissioner O'Hare's, and Commissioner, if I am misinterpreting your comments, I apologize, but as I would interpret her comments is, well, what is the market demand for the services you provide, and who are you competing with for the consumers of that product? And I don't doubt that you provide a useful product, but the question is this the only model we should consider? And should we ever consider challenging you to change your business plan to increase your worth, I will say, to the marketplace through subscriptions or donations or direct services to help offset just the flat support that the county gives? And I've raised that issue in years past, as you well know, and I have raised that with others. I just offer that as an observation because while we've given some $3 million for the last 10 years, there oftentimes are many anecdotal expressions of the good work you do, but I have yet to see the metrics and the demand in a systematic way represented for your request. So I don't doubt you do good work, but how valuable is it for the $300,000 a year? Maybe it far outstrips that, and maybe it doesn't, but I don't have a way to judge that. So I just offer that as an observation. Thank you.
Mr. Newfield?
I was just going to share with the board, and I think Doug remembers this. We had a budget deficit. It had to do with CARS funding in a 3 or 4 year deal, and it was in late 90s for the 2000 budget, and so everybody was in a good shape except us. And we had a brand new county manager, and that county manager proposed reducing funding to SERI and ECJC and a number of other things, and talked about the cities picking up some of the support. And just to share, and again, this was 20 plus years ago, the feedback we got from the cities is that they do most of the heavy lifting with economic development. Obviously, we deal with the unincorporated area, and they felt like that was it made sense for the county to have some skin in the game and to support SERI in the way that we did. And so those reductions did not end up staying in the budget, and they were returned to their core funding. So and Doug talked about the services that he provides on rating agencies, and it's true. Whenever we issue debt, Robin or I or both of us have a conversation with Doug and make sure that we are ready for those rating calls. So it's those things are invaluable. But I do recall that the cities were very supportive of SERI, but they also, at least at that time, those would be different councils, had that expectation that that was a good role for the county to support economic development. So that was the feedback we had. Again, that was 20-some years ago, but I did want to share that with the board, just as background.
And I've been around long enough to Scott to remember that.
Doug didn't talk to me for like 2 years after that, so no, I'm kidding. He was gracious.
Commissioner Fast, I just didn't want to leave anybody out.
No, I mean, I think, the data and your analysis, yeah, it costs money, but it also brings in money. And Commissioner Allenbrand said that with grant work, you can't access federal funding, other nonprofit funding without that base data, which is what you provide. So, we would have to have someone else do it. Somebody has got to be putting together this data.
Any more questions?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioners, thank you for having us. I'm Danny Burling. I'm president of the Johnson County Fairs Board Association. I'm assuming most of you know about the fair. The fair was started in 1939. We reach out to about 60,000 people every year. The fair is usually put on with our basis of our 15 executive fair board volunteers. We have somewhere around the number of 200 general fair board members that help do some of the other duties around the fair. We are the showcase for the 4-H projects, for all the livestock, the static, that is all the artwork, the foods, all the other projects that are in 4-H. Last year we had 4,076 fair entries with about 550 youth exhibitors. We have Family Fun Night that is no charge to anyone. Most of the other nights during the fair, the only charges that we have are for any arena events that we have, and then the carnival. Everything else at the fair is free. Last year we started with a tradition that we're going to try to keep going. It's called celebrity showmanship. I know some of you were involved in that. We appreciate you coming. We're going to continue to do that. We raised some money on that last year, and hopefully you guys got some benefit out of that yourselves. Some of the other events that we feel have really touched the community is our Chasing Memories. It's an opportunity for our 4-H youth to help with some special need children to learn how to show animals, how to handle them. We give trophies and things like that out at the end to all the exhibitors. This year we hosted the Slice of Ag field trip for the schools with 4-H Extension and Johnson County Farm Bureau. And I believe I think it's second graders that come out and they just kind of get a tour. There's combines there, so they show them how the grain's harvested, and then all the different products that those things are used for. Had some cattle there, some pigs there, things like that for them. We do have the mutton busting that's great for the kids on Tuesday night during our family fun night, same time as our greased pig. And we really like that because it gets those kids that usually aren't able to be around those animals up there, touching them, seeing what they're really about. And then our fairgrounds, we have those available for rental for birthday parties, graduations, anniversary parties, kind of anything that you'd want to rent our buildings for there. We let the 4-H'ers use them during the year. And then a lot of our partners that we have is the Johnson County 4-H and Extension. Hopefully you, with Johnson County Commissioners, the Johnson County Sheriff's Office provides us our security. The City of Gardner, we're trying to make even more of a partnership with them. This year we started out with the Gardner Edgerton School District, and we're actually going to be doing the free lunches, breakfast and lunches with them at the fairgrounds this year. The Johnson County Farm Bureau, Pyramid Contractors, they are also the owners of the Ace Hardware in Gardner. The Knights of Columbus, they do some parking with us. ADM is a big sponsor, and many, many more that we're not remembering.
Ted Clemens with Budget. I'm going to briefly touch on a few slides that go through some financial data. This slide, the primary purpose is to show that the fair is requesting $60,439 to bring their support up from the county to $150,000. They've been flat at $89,561 for a while now. This funding would be used for capital needs, which we'll touch on. And this slide provides an overview. So the net income of the fair is around $23,000 or so in a good year. You can see that in 18 and 19. And then we went through the history. So that 17 year, that negative is due to rain canceling events. And then the 2020 year is due to COVID. The 2021, Danny can speak to this more if desired, but that income is kind of because of the 2 years in 2020 and 2021 coming together where maybe expenses would be less because those happened in 20 for that fair, et cetera. As you can see, without county support, the fair would go negative every year, and they have a target reserve of $150,000 to help them meet cash flow. This would allow for 2 years of kind of negative eventualities such as rain. And then we can now, okay, their current reserves are $350,000. Those are going to be used for capital mostly. And this slide runs you through a list of about 10 items of capital projects. I won't go through these in any kind of detail that you have these, but the first one's completed, and then some of the large ones are bleacher replacement, and then arena lighting, PA system, and roofing, livestock building and show arena, new base paving. So the list, many of these are quite important projects. And so that would be what the capital projects would be used for. This slide, we went through, I believe, 4 or 5 years of financial data just to show an estimate of the expense categories and the revenue categories to provide that data. And I'll let Danny now provide some slides.
So some of the issues on the prior slide was a lot of our buildings. So our livestock barn, our show barn that houses our cattle, our swine, lambs, and goats, it's approximately 60,000 square feet. Our 4-H building that has all of our static projects in it, it's 8,000 square feet. Our open building, which is where the open class projects are, it's 6,000 square feet. And then our commercial building is what we use for rentals during the fair for exhibitors to have their booths in there. It's approximately 5,000. Our chicken rabbit barn, it's a 6,000 square foot building. Then our memorial building where we have our concerts, luncheons, things like that is around 4,000 square feet. Most of these buildings were built in the 70s, and they're in need of repair. They're kind of to that point. The picture on the lower left is our new bathhouse that we've built. It's a men's and women's. Inside it will be heated, air conditioned, has 4 showers. And we're just really hoping to keep making our fair better and grow it with our partners and partnerships that we can form. But we do need your guys' help for the funding for that. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Burling. And I made a promise to this commission during the last budget hearing to meet with the fair, see what the strategies were, and look at other options. So I do want you to know that we've had ongoing meetings with the city of Olathe, the city manager. Mr. Stewart from Johnson County Parks and Rec has been involved. Also the Gardner City Parks and Rec. There are lots of programs being discussed right now. Some of them are, there's some programming that wants to go year-round with extension, by having, a lot of people have bee farms in their backyard, even within the city limits, chicken coops, how do I do that, So we are having those ongoing discussions right now. And it's kind of in hopes, we just had a meeting with the city of Gardner, and so we're hoping to come to some resolutions and doing some of those partnerships. So I just want you to know that that has been something they've been committed to, I've been committed, and so has Mr. Stewart and some of the other people that have been involved, and along with the city of Gardner. So hopefully we can get more assistance from other partners. So I wanted to let you know that. Mr. Newfield.
Yeah, I just wanted to share, as Chairman Alan Brent mentioned, there's been a number of meetings, and so she asked us in budget to work with the Fair Board on their books, and so they opened up their books to us, and we've had a number of meetings to put this information together in a way that's more similar to how we look at it here at the county. And so I appreciate that direction, and then the partnership we had with the Fair Board. We had some good meetings, and Ted and I were out there a number of times helping to kind of form things together to get a handle on understanding kind of their cash flow, their reserve needs, their capital needs. So I'm glad that you directed us to do that, because I feel like I personally have a better handle on kind of what their situation is. So.
And one of the things I didn't know, that there is a statute that says that the county shall pay for judges. Now, there's no amount in that statute, but there is a statute. So,
And I think ribbons as well.
oh, there you go, ribbons
And
and
enumerations.
judges. So
Yes.
that is in the statute, so, so I don't know if legal has any comment to that, or I don't think they're here.
Legal?
So we'll just move right along. So do we have any questions from the commission?
Can you say a little bit, you said you're working on some things. I wasn't quite sure what you're working on.
I wish I could talk publicly about some,
Okay.
because there's some big things, hopefully.
Okay, well,
in
I
the-
can talk to you later.
Yeah, I can share those, because it has to be voted on, it's a partnership
Yeah.
with the city.
No,
and
that-
you've
that's
gotta-
fine.
So there is a lot of things and moving pieces, and so at this point, they do need our help. During COVID, this was highly used, and there is a lot of mental health. But I think there's a lot more things to come in the future with this partnership that we're looking at with all these different entities. So you might elaborate why people wanted to know why the parade was canceled, and the Johnson County Fair does not put that parade on. That's part of the chamber.
Correct.
But you might just say how that happened.
So in the years past, the Chamber of Commerce has always put on our parade. And to my, I just found out this year that they've never gotten the permit to shut down 56 Highway. And now the state has a new engineer that said that they will not give them the permit to shut down that highway. And I don't know if the reasoning of canceling it is because of not being able to lay out a new parade route soon enough, or if it's the staging it at the start and the end of it, or what really the real issues are with that. We're still trying to figure that out a little bit, but I do feel that's gonna be a little bit of an impact on our fair this year too. Because there is a fairly large amount of people that show up just for the parade and then end up at our fair on Saturday morning.
I could suggest, though, when you do that parade route, you might want to hit the wineries and some of the local, strawberry picking,
It'd be a little
and
bit
hit
of a
some of
long
those
walk for the
vendors.
kids,
So I just, well, the coffee shop does
It's on
well.
56
so-
Highway.
Maybe have a club.
No, there's some others outside if you go the back way. So it
Right.
would be a little bit longer route. So Commissioner Fast, did you have
No,
anything
I
else?
like that, have a wine crawl instead of a parade this year.
Well, we're actually talking about a lot of things. One other thing came up, instead of the showman of the livestock, was having the grease pig contest with the commissioners, so.
Oh, no.
Commissioner Ashcraft.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Somewhat along the lines of this discussion, and not the grease pig part, but last year, Mr. Thompson, or in previous years, the question of having a contract with outside agencies, including the fair, has been broached. Have we made any progress on that? And I do thank Commissioner Allen Brand for engaging in conversations, because related to that were elements of, is there a strategic plan? And Mr. Neufeld, I appreciate your comments of of understanding the financials, because we've been asked to give $90,000 a year, and as I recall, state statute actually narrowly defines what our responsibilities are, that would make the numeraries for $90,000 quite rich by most standards. Because my ultimate question is this the best model or even the preferred model for providing fair services to Johnson County? Because in years past, the question has come up is why isn't Johnson County Parks and Rec more involved or even possibly managing this effort and in conjunction with or in partnership with the Fair Board? Because I understand the request and need for improving facilities, but I'm a little reticent to improve facilities knowing that there may be greater opportunities in the near future. So, Mr. Thompson, that's kind of a big issue to broach at this point, but I just don't see that.
So quickly, thank you. A couple of initial responses. The contracts that you referred to may be generous when you call them a contract. They're agreements. They're pretty straightforward and simple. Those have been in effect now for 2 or 3 years. You may recall my comment at the time was I saw that as an iterative process. They were going to start out to be pretty basic.
Correct.
And hopefully they would evolve over time to get more specific outcome focused. So to your other issue then, which relates to that one about what is the future of a fair, yes, we've had some of those conversations. And again, as the chair just indicated, there have been numbers of conversations that have gone on the past year or so and continue to go on, which gets at that larger issue about what is the strategic vision for a fair in Johnson County, and are there other partnerships? So again, those conversations are underway.
Well, Commissioner Fast had raised similar issues in years past, and I don't want to put words in her mouth, but I would like to see the fair be successful and be truly a Johnson County fair.
Not to speak for Commissioner Fast, but she
Well,
was,
everybody's speaking for me.
but we will. She was part of those initial conversations, or at least a conversation that I was a part of. We went to Gardner and met, and she expressed those concerns. And again, those are part of the ongoing conversations now.
I think, one of the, just representing my first district is, and I've told you that, it's expanding definition of agriculture. I mean, when you look at in who's FFA today, it's girls, and a large number is urban, suburban girls now are pursuing urban, suburban agriculture, and so how and I've talked to Tara. How does our extension service? I mean, when they've done a composting workshop, in the Northeast, it's packed out, or about how pollinators, and was at the JCC campus tour. I'm going to call you out. I mean, what they're doing on sustainability, and so that would be a possible partner too. It's just that the expanding definition of agriculture from what I grew up on the farm.
Chair, if I might, just a reminder of time. We have 15 minutes,
Okay.
and my understanding is the Arts Council cannot be here next week, so we really need to get to them if we can.
Okay, and I can meet with people independently, but Mr. Stewart has offered to do a strategic plan, and I agree with you. I think that we need to look at the county as a whole, and they've been very committed to do that. So I wish we would have been a lot further along, but it takes a while to get everybody to come to the table, so.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Burling.
Thank you.
The county contribution for the Arts Council of Johnson County remains at $100,000 as it has in previous years. And with that, I'll turn it over to Sarah Van Dyke.
Good afternoon. I'm Sarah Van Landite. I'm the Executive Director for the Arts Council of Johnson County. And with me today is Kate Allen. She is our board president, as well as Allison Bowman, who is the Arts Council's administrative assistant, as well as a practicing visual artist. Before I begin, I wanted to thank you all for, I know this is getting late in the day, so I appreciate you making time and letting us have a moment to speak with you and share about what we do. And I also want to thank you for your continued support of the Arts Council and Arts and Creativity in Johnson County. And this year, we are respectfully requesting $100,000 or level support. And as in the county's 2022 budget contribution, we are matching those funds dollar for dollar with private and in-kind contributions. So arts and creativity that makes us stronger as individuals, families, communities, and as a county. They are the backbone of innovation, prosperity, and thriving people and places. Arts and creativity also have the extraordinary ability to support our well-being and cultivate a sense of connectedness. With a focus on strengthening the arts, we remain your partner in building a strong, resilient, and connected community. The Arts Council's work is guided by our strategic plan and 4 key deliverables which are shared on your screen. Over the last 2 years, the Arts Council has connected individual artists, small creative businesses, and nonprofit organizations with financial and mental health resources, provided information about the pandemic's impact to stakeholders, and communicated the creative sector's greatest needs. One of our most successful efforts was in 2020 when we partnered with you to manage the COVID Cultural Arts Relief Grant Program. 44 Johnson County artists from each of the 6 districts were awarded grants to support their small or non-employer businesses at the height of the pandemic. In 2021, ACJC formed a 15-member advisory committee of Johnson County artists, advocates, volunteers, arts administrators, and board members to help us identify continuing impacts from the pandemic. The committee is also brainstorming potential programs and other opportunities to support the creative sector and our community's recovery and rebuilding efforts. And while their work is ongoing, it's helping us to reimagine ways in which we carry out our mission in our programs. Arts and creativity of all kinds, from storytelling, painting, public art, and theater, celebrate our local culture, help us build and reflect on our experiences, and connect us through our common humanity, which is essential to strength and well-being and vitality of communities in every corner of our county. The Veterans Arts Program is a collaboration with the Johnson County Arts and Heritage Center. In 2021, we presented 3 military and veteran-focused programs, including the Place of Peace visual art exhibition at the Johnson County Arts and Heritage Center, which also included take-home art kits for families. The Veteran Story Collecting Project, which was presented in partnership with the Midwest Trust Center and the Arts and Heritage Center, and Artist Inc. Arts Business Workshops for Kansas Military. The workshops were presented in collaboration with the Kansas Creative Arts Industries Commission and Mid-America Arts Alliance. Combined, the 3 programs served 870 people. In October 2021, the Arts Council published the Johnson County Public Art Digital Catalog. This multi-year project was created in partnership with Johnson County Community College, University of Kansas, and municipal and county public art collections. Its mission is to serve as a centralized, easy-to-use digital resource for Johnson County residents and visitors alike to locate, view, research, and reflect upon the many pieces of public art through our Johnson County. Moreover, the public art itself, like the catalog, helps us reflect on our community, humanizes civic spaces, and sees the uniqueness of our county's identity. The catalog currently features 101 public artworks, and this summer we're working on a new annual process to update the catalog with new additions to public art collections. Last fall, we also presented a new program, the Kansas Arts Council Symposium, at the Johnson County Arts and Heritage Center. Hearing from our state and local arts sector, ACJC saw an opportunity to convene arts leaders from across Johnson County and Kansas. Our goal for the symposium was to learn from each other, share ideas, connect with colleagues, and celebrate the arts in Kansas. What resulted from our first symposium was not only a clear need to continue offering the convening, but also the desire to stay connected with each other throughout the year. And that's why the Arts Council is leading the effort to establish a statewide network of arts councils. The network, once developed, will support communication, promotion of the arts, professional development, and will help raise the profile of the arts in Johnson County and across the state. Arts and creativity strengthen education. They set young people up for success, close the achievement gap, and improve test scores. Arts and creativity spark human potential, promoting cognitive development and readiness to learn at every age. The Shooting Stars program recognizes the impact of arts education in our schools and celebrates Johnson County High School seniors for their artistic excellence. This year, the Arts Council recognized 87 Johnson County High School seniors from 26 high schools across the county for their excellence in the arts at the 2022 Shooting Stars Gala. This year's gala marked the return of our in-person celebration and the opening of the Shooting Stars visual art exhibition at the Nerman Museum. Beginning this spring, through April 2023, the Arts Council is working with Arts KC and Americans for the Arts on the Arts and Economic Prosperity Study 6, or AEP 6. Done every 5 years, the study gauges the economic impact of spending by nonprofit arts and culture organizations and the event-related spending of their audiences. Once completed, the study will be a great tool for our community and the creative sector. It will help us understand and share the cultural benefit that arts and creativity provides, as well as provide data on how our local industry supports jobs and is a cornerstone of tourism. Additionally, the community engagement work that will facilitate for the AEP 6 study will provide a good foundation for future work on our cultural asset mapping project. Though it will be a significant undertaking of resources, we intend to begin the mapping project in October 2022, and our goal is to complete the project by early 2023 so that it can easily link into a regional cultural mapping study led by Arts KC. And as I close our presentation, I'd like to thank you again for your continued support and recognize with gratitude the multitude of partners within and across sectors who help us serve our community every day. And with that, I am happy to stand for questions.
Thank you. Do we have any questions from the commission? Commissioner Ashcraft.
Okay.
I thought I'd start at the opposite side this time.
Very good. Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, welcome. Have we seen you since COVID? I don't believe we have. But
I
if-
don't think so. Yeah,
so,
this is.
So welcome, welcome
I'm
back.
glad to be back.
Welcome back. Currently, you said 50% of your revenues are generated by private support, and I appreciate you identifying your strategic plan efforts. A couple years ago, Linda Allen from Arts KC once indicated that expenditures on arts generate a 5-to-1 return on investment, and you said a couple years ago that you thought your rate of return would be about 4-to-1, and so in line in terms of direct return on investment. But what I don't see is how you track and report and measure on that success. Have you been able to do that over the years? And I know COVID has made everything more complicated, and if you've been able to maintain that ratio.
Well, one of the ways we do track that is through the Arts and Economic Prosperity Study. The last one was done in 2015, 2016.
Yeah.
It was supposed to happen again in 2020, but COVID delayed, and we just didn't see, as did Americans for the Arts. You know, arts organizations were the first to close and we're the last to open, and so it wouldn't have made sense to do any kind of economic impact study in 2020, so that's why we're doing it now. But that's one way we can get a good picture in Johnson County itself about economic impact for the arts. Another great tool is we work with Kansas Creative Arts Industries Commission, our state arts agency. They collect a lot of great data because that's just something with our small staff that often we're not able to do, so we work with other organizations who have the capacity to do that for us, and then they share those reports.
Very good. Mr. Thompson, I'll direct this to you, and please feel free to pivot, but have we ever considered the relative merits of managing this program within the Parks and Recreation Department rather than through an outside agency, and what those benefits and costs might be? Because if you recall, the Parks Department indicated that when they created the endowment program, they expected a 20-to-1 rate of return. And Mr. Stewart, when I asked him that recently, said it was almost double of that. And I commend them for those efforts, but I was just wondering if that's ever been considered.
Actually, thank you for that question. Yes, it has. As Sarah would attest, we went through probably maybe close to 2 years' worth of conversations about that exact thing. Did it make sense to really fold the Arts Council into the Johnson County Park and Recreation District? After much study and much scrutiny and talking about the possibilities, I think the realization was that it probably does not make sense for a long-term future, but I would suggest that they've gotten very close. As you know, the Arts Council of Johnson County is housed in the Arts and Heritage Center and works, I would say, hand in glove with the cultural division within the JCPRD now. So they work very closely, also works with the Johnson County Developmental Supports, their emerging artist program in the building. So really a seamless service delivery. But to your point, that the final analysis didn't yield the benefit that I'll suggest I personally thought might be there in merging them completely.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Madam,
Mr. Thompson, thank you for those comments, and I think we all are charged with looking at different programs of how we can maybe possibly merge those together. The same with Commissioner Fass, when you talk about the Johnson County Fair and other things, I think there's a good possibility of putting those programs together. Commissioner O'Hara.
thank you. I've had direct experience with using art and music in homeschooling, and it's extremely important, and the benefits are unbelievable. I had 2 children that joined our family, and one was 10 and one was 12, and I incorporated the arts, visual arts, drawing, music, and it was very, very beneficial. So very supportive, but also very, very careful about taxpayers' dollars. Thank you.
Commissioner O'Hara, thank you for those comments, because music, art, horses, animals are all vital.
Right, horseback riding was part of the curriculum too, as well as mucking stalls.
There you go. Also, I would like to comment, I don't know about the rest of you, but I received a lot of emails from seniors about this program, so very positive. High school seniors. Well, what did I say? Didn't I say seniors?
I was like, do you have an older adult program?
We welcome everybody. We support
Can't you
everyone.
follow me? I'm trying to follow.
I mean, the letters and emails, like, I've gotten some at my house, some at my campaign account, some here. I mean, it's just incredible stories. I'm like, will you come back and work for Johnson County? I guess I have one other question. So you're not a county employee, right?
Correct, I am not.
So then your budget has to support your health insurance and your benefits, and for being a one-person office, that's really expensive, right?
It is. I mean, certainly, I think anyone who works in a nonprofit, especially in an administrative role, can tell you that it is challenging, particularly, as we enter the endemic phase, or hopefully the endemic phase of the pandemic. That is incredibly challenging. And certainly, general operating costs, which covers salaries and benefits and all of that, that's something that's hard to fundraise for.
Yeah, I mean,
Short answer,
I'm a
yes.
one-person nonprofit, and it's incredible how much insurance is for one-person nonprofit. I guess that's the benefit of having, if there could be some sort of a relationship with JCPRD, just because that is so much of your budget. I mean, I know how much that is of my budget, and I can imagine how that is of your budget, but in my job as an executive director.
Just very quickly, Commissioner Hanslick had a quick comment.
Oh, I just was going to say, I had the opportunity to attend the Shooting Stars event this year and really enjoyed that, and was very inspired by the students that participated. Thank you.
Mr. Thompson, did you have anything to end with? I know we were about past our
Just a
time.
couple of comments real quickly. I appreciate the comments from the commission. Commissioner O'Hara referenced the homeschooling community. I know the Arts Council has reached out and done work with the homeschoolers, so they're very much a part of the services that they provide there. And then to Commissioner Fast, questions about the benefits for the employee and a half or two now, I can't remember where you're at. Yes, that is a significant issue. That was one of my personal premises, to look at some sort of consolidation. Could there be some benefit that would reduce that burden on the Arts Council as well? So thank you.
And thank you, Mr. Thompson, for those kind words. And it does help to be a musician to be able to incorporate those.
Great.
Well, I'm not, so I don't have any musician talent. So with that, if we have no other comments, we'll close the meeting.
And just really quick to close out, if I could get your revisit list before you leave, that would be appreciated.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Robin.